And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time on the GSMC Sports Network, here to talk about everything wrestling, all the action outside and inside the ring, superstar news, injuries, contract updates, and contract status and stuff like that. So, make sure you tune into the podcast if you're a huge wrestling fan, or if you're trying to dabble on into professional wrestling. This is a pretty good way to start. We talk about AEW. We also talk about Ring of Honor. We talk about TNA. We talk about mostly WWE, to be honest. We talk about history. We talk about history as well. We dabble on into New Japan Professional Wrestling from time to time. MLW, Stardom, NWA occasionally when something really big happens. WWE, NXT, obviously along those lines as well. So make sure you tune into the podcast. It's pretty awesome. Would love to see you guys back here every night to spend time with me. So without further ado, let's talk about some SummerSlam rumors. But before we do any of that, I want to remind you guys to use the tips and donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net. Shoot me your comments, questions, and concerns. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like. Tell me, what you think's going to happen at SummerSlam. Tell me what you want to happen at SummerSlam. 1,010% in terms of professional wrestling. The best and the coolest thing to do is to obviously play around with some particular scenarios, play around with a little bit of conspiracy theories that might come true and be awesome as hell. So yeah, here at the GSMC Sports Network, we do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity. So leave a positive remark. Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Also follow the show and the GSMC Sports Network. So yeah, once again, the link is at the GSMCpodcast.net. Okay, so we're going to talk about some WWE SummerSlam rumors. Oh my God, it's a rumor. So on SummerSlam, at SummerSlam, there's going to be 6 title bouts. 6 title bouts, a total of 7 matches. Last year, there was 9 matches. SummerSlam, obviously expanding to 2 nights. So this is, I feel like this SummerSlam probably, well, every PLE really has to be huge, to be honest. I feel like that 1,010%. But this is going to be big. This is going to kind of stem into a new era, new generation of SummerSlams that younger WWE fans will start to, kind of get used to. Obviously, I kind of had speculations that since WrestleMania is going international, SummerSlam is probably, it's going to be here to stay inside the United States, kind of like what WrestleMania, was until, kind of got to step up in terms of, moving on up in the world. You got to accept change. You got to become one with change. You got to accept change. And for some people, that is hard. Got to be honest. Now, if you want to watch WrestleMania, you have to, you got to get a hotel, got to get a rental car, you got to get airfare, and it's not, it's not going to be that easy. As opposed to like if you lived in Atlanta, Georgia, and WrestleMania was in, uh, we'll just say SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. I'm from the area, SoCal, and all you have to do is just hop on a couple freeways, hop on the 10 freeway, drive that thing all the way down, probably about a day or so, and then bam, you're there. But now, and you can probably do that on like $300. Well, I don't know, gas is pretty damn expensive. You can probably do like $300 worth of gas and stuff like that. But now you gotta buy air tickets, and everybody knows that buying tickets outside of the United States to fly, it's a doozy. And then connecting flights, and you don't know if your flight's going to get canceled. You don't know if it's going to get delayed. It's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of WWE fans. But at the same time, I feel like for the WWE to spread its wings, it's kind of necessary. So the first rumor, it's been rumored that WWE wants the belt on Bron Breakker. But they kind of wanted him to win the Intercontinental Championship on a brighter stage, as opposed to, WWE Money in the Bank. I'm not too sure how I'm going to feel about Bron Breakker as a champion. Right now, I'm open to it. We don't really have a dominant champion. Cody Rhodes seems like he's a dominant champion because he recently finished his story, and whenever he comes, whenever someone challenges him, I'm like, it took Cody Rhodes 2 years to get the title, and I don't think he's going to lose in less than like 6 or 7 months at least. But Bron Breakker, he's been one of the most successful WWE stars rising up. He's been trained by the likes of CM Punk. He's been trained obviously by his father Rick Steiner and his uncle Scott Steiner. And also, I think if might not be mistaken, I think Roman Reigns also kind of plays a pivotal role on the upbringing of Bron Breakker in terms of WWE. And Sami Zayn losing the title, you know what? It wouldn't even make that much, I don't think it would make that much negative waves for WWE because Sami Zayn's title reign has been, in fact, it's been hard fought. It's been very impressive in my opinion. And, I don't think anybody should be mad. If anything, Sami Zayn, I feel like he's going to get a huge push, with his tenure as the Intercontinental Champion. But, him retaining also could be a high possibility. Bron Breakker has made a lot of enemies, a lot of enemies. And, but then so has, Sami Zayn with the Judgment Day. For Bron Breakker, there's Ilya Dragunov. There's also, Ricochet, who might make his way back to the WWE. Honestly, my bet is probably Ricochet resigns with the WWE. Maybe has has a little feud with Bron Breakker. Maybe eventually, maybe touches the Intercontinental Championship a couple of times. That'd be pretty dope. But I didn't really like him when he was the Speed Champion. I felt like WWE overall created the Speed title, sort of like, what, honestly, we can't let Ricochet go. We gotta butter him up. We gotta keep him. You gotta have that fish hook. You gotta dangle that, that mouse, or no, not the mouse. What is it? Whatever. But on hamster wheel and stuff like that. So you know, Bron Breakker could definitely 1,010% be the next Intercontinental Champion. Next, we have, besides Cody Rhodes' match against Solo Sikoa, which is still, for me, to be honest, I'm still at 65-35 here. I was like 99% Cody Rhodes. I was like, dude, he's not going to lose. But, with all the buildup and stuff like that, I've heard rumors that, Cody Rhodes might be injured. He might have to relinquish his championship, which would be absolutely devastating. Him having to start from scratch and, trying to trying to gain it back from the bloodline. But I feel like Solo Sikoa, and if they are teasing Solo Sikoa eventually fighting Roman Reigns, you sort of have to, you have to give some prestige to Solo Sikoa. I still feel like his credibility and the way people kind of look at him is a little weak in terms of like skills and in-ring capabilities and his way to kind of overall harness the power of the people, how people like kind of perceive him. I'm still, I think they kind of forced this a little bit too much, but that was my opinion, 1,010%. I thought Cody maybe should have fought the likes of Randy Orton or something like that, like a friendly bout. And then you have the bloodline coming after him and stuff like that. But, hopefully Paul Levesque and the creative team from WWE know what they're doing. So, but out of all the matches, this is probably the only match that won't have a title change. All the other matches, like the Damian Priest, Gunther, Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Bailey versus Nia Jax, etc. All those matches look like they have the potential. All these singles matches, it looks like they have the potential to drop the title. Logan Paul, you have the LA Knight absolutely over right now with the crowd 1,010%. Would be interesting to see him, win the match overall. But yeah, kind of crazy, but whatever. Jey Uso not a part of SummerSlam, and a couple of episodes ago, I was talking, his father, Rikishi, voiced his frustration over WWE creative, saying that, you're kind of, what are you doing with my son? I feel like, Jey Uso, could have won the Money in the Bank. It would have made it, pretty interesting, to be honest. But, now you kind of have him flirting with Rhea Ripley, becoming part of this little love triangle between Dominic Mysterio and Rhea Ripley. So, it's honestly, in my opinion, I don't think it's that great, being brutally honest. But, Jey Uso, he's a special superstar. No doubt in my mind, he will be champion someday. But, definitely not before this year's SummerSlam. Maybe they might make it up to him. Maybe he wins the Royal Rumble. Maybe he fights, his former tag team partner. They held the tag team undisputed championships together, Cody Rhodes. Maybe he's the one to kind of dethrone Cody Rhodes. That would be insane, super crazy. But, honestly, anything's possible at this point. So Dave Meltzer said, and I quote, "This will end up as the largest gate for a non-WrestleMania show in North American history, and the second most attended SummerSlam behind, of course, the 1992 show at Wembley Stadium in history." Kind of crazy, because yesterday we talked about how AEW's All In is going to be at Wembley Stadium. So thus, people are saying that the pay-per-view is going to be way bigger. It's going to be way bigger than WWE Summerslam because it holds more seats than Cleveland Brown Stadium. But, I like what they're going. I like the way they're heading for SummerSlam. I got to be honest. I think it's going to, this Saturday, I'm super excited. Although there's only like, I think they said 7 matches or something like that. But I don't know why the DIY title match and, against the Tongans aren't at SummerSlam. But, overall, I think it's going to be a great show. I can't wait to watch it 1,010%. Is Roman Reigns coming back? Will Roman Reigns return? Right now, I'm still, at a coin toss here. If he comes back, he's not going to get inside the ring. He's not going to do confrontation at all. He debuted, after he was in remission. He debuted back into the WWE. After he relinquished his Universal Championship, he came in to take down The Fiend at SummerSlam, and that's kind of started with the whole new persona back in 2021 where, wreck everyone and leave, or come in, win, leave. Like, he came in and kind of like a jerk, came in as that, kind of like as that heel that everybody knew that he could possibly be. And honestly, which was better for his character as opposed to forcing him down the WWE Universe's throat as a babyface, which Vince McMahon did really, really well as soon as Roman Reigns left the Shield. So, don't know if he's going to come back. It's highly still speculated, but I'm not too sure. Will Paul Heyman also return? Paul Heyman possibly could return with Roman Reigns. Maybe he returns if does Jimmy Uso return at SummerSlam? It would be pretty interesting to see them all walk out. Roman Reigns, Jimmy Uso, Paul Heyman, to confront the young bloodline, distract Solo Sikoa, which causes him to lose against Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam for his championship match, which would be, it seems like that would be more than likely. Because, I doubt I would love to see a face-to-face, I'd love to see a challenge in tribal combat between Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa, but right now I just don't see it really happening. I feel like, pushing it a little too soon. Maybe at the Bash of Berlin, you might be getting a match like that. And then heading toward November, you could possibly damn near get a Bloodline Civil War match, which would be, in War Games, which would be pretty badass. Brock Lesnar, like I mentioned last show, he's kind of like the king. He's the king of SummerSlam. He's always in SummerSlams. He's always in the main event at SummerSlam. He's like the Undertaker in terms of main events at WrestleMania, where, he's always there. He's always there. Brock Lesnar has always been, like, obviously Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, but more often than not, at SummerSlam. You've seen him fight some of the best matches he's had at SummerSlam, like in 2003 where he took on, where he stole the show with Kurt Angle, or like when he had that last man standing match against Roman Reigns where he had to throw everything but the kitchen sink on top, and he came in with the tractor to, to throw over the ring and stuff like that. Was pretty insane, to be honest. But Brock Lesnar, looking for, he's looking to return to WWE. I'm not too sure how quick he is because the whole Janelle Grant allegations and the court case and the lawsuit and stuff like that. I kind of ultimately came up with the decision. If I was Brock Lesnar or if I was his PR rep, I'm like, you know what, like, I would wait for everything to kind of blow over in terms of that. Maybe make a return at the Royal Rumble. I think that could be ideal as well. But in terms of when it comes to WWE, unpredictability sells. Would be automatically electric if you heard the Beast Incarnate song hit like that would be pretty insane. Being, I would love to see it. Alexa Bliss, she's in her hometown of Cleveland, Ohio. Well, no, I think it's Cincinnati. I'm not too sure. But she's from the Ohio area, obviously representing. It's kind of been predetermined. It's to the point where her joining the Wyatt Six is a little bit too obvious now. Honestly, in my opinion, I feel like as soon as you kind of saw Nikki Cross kind of fill in that void, I was like, you know what? Usually when it comes to stables in terms of WWE, you only really have one chick. That's just kind of the rules. Would be cool to kind of see that rule broken, though. See Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross go after the WWE World Women's Tag Team titles would be pretty awesome. But then watching Alexa come back, doing her own thing, being what Alexa does every single time she comes into a WWE ring is she pisses the other people off. She might be small, but she's a package of dynamite ready to explode when do all it takes to get the dub. So would be pretty interesting to see Alexa Bliss return at WWE Summerslam. I would definitely, to be honest, I think it'd be sick. I think it'd be sick. Next, Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair also was seen on social media, practicing inside a performance center, maybe teasing at a potential run here at WWE SummerSlam. Her obviously coming back would be amazing. Put the women's locker room on notice a little bit. I feel like her, coming back to the WWE right now would ultimately kind of force WWE to kind of speed up with the process in terms of the WWE Women's Intercontinental and the WWE Women's United States Championship. Because, if you ever come back, you also have Tiffany Stratton still with the Money in the Bank briefcase. You also have Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan kind of in their own little world on Raw. Besides those two, there's not really anyone who can challenge for the World Women's Champion. Maybe Sonya Deville. Maybe perhaps because you have Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark kind of stepping into that full women's tag team kind of title role a little bit. So, definitely, or you also have Io Sky. Io Sky also a damage control. And I'm thinking that, especially after the promo they had on Monday Night Raw, I think damage control is kind of heading for a different direction. Asuka comes back, perhaps, as a singles wrestler. She's a very dominant singles wrestler. Would be interesting to see her go back after the title. I want to see her as champion again. 1,010%. I think she's a great champion. Dakota Kai also, I feel like, kind of deserves a little bit of a singles run inside of WWE. She's more than formidable to hold a championship title, 1,010%. But at the main title, that's a different question. But, you bring in the Women's Intercontinental, you bring in the Women's United States Championship. I feel like it'd be great for her, to be honest. All right, and lastly, will Seth Rollins attack CM Punk at the match, costing him to lose, costing a feud between them? But, if you had CM Punk destroyed Drew McIntyre's hopes and dreams of becoming champion 3 times, just kind of having it all end in one night at SummerSlam kind of just seems like kind of a letdown, to be honest. That's just my opinion. But unless they completely just beat the hell out of each other, Seth Rollins obviously is the special guest referee, so anything really goes. He's he's gonna call it or he's not gonna call it. He's gonna turn his back and act like he can't see or he doesn't know what's going on. So obviously you have the visionary. Hopefully he has a vision of the way he ultimately wants to move on with this match. But a lot of speculation saying that he will piss off the WWE universe, turn heel. So, well, I don't think in that situation there's not really like a turning heel because you kind of have Drew McIntyre. He's kind of in his own little world. Then you have CM Punk, who's he's not really liked or he's not really loved, or he's not really hated, and Seth Rollins is kind of like that bridge in between those two. So that'd be kind of interesting. All right, guys, now we're going to move on to my 4th segment. We're going to talk about Survivor Series War Games being announced by Triple H, Paul Levesque. It's going to be in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. We're going to talk about it. Obviously, this is where the Bloodline Civil War will take place. And I can't wait to dive into it when we come back.